guys, I am here to do part 2 of my bookshelf tour today, and that is going to be this bookcase right here, which is completely full, looks awesome, and I'm really proud of it, so I'm really excited to show you what is on here. And I just want to say a couple of things beforehand, because why would not? So yeah, I'm going to say thank you so much for 250 subscribers. It is insane. I never even imagined that I'd get this many on this new channel. I just thought, you know, it might be a channel that just stayed in the background with nobody watching it, but funnily enough, it's got 250 subscribers or more, and I am just, yeah, thank you. And the second thing is that if you hear some really weird music like JLS, Justin Bieber or some similar, it's my mum downstairs who has her phone on, the big stand thing, and it's like a mixture of 12-year-old me and her music, so yeah. Starting with the top, as with the last tour, I hope this is working. On the far left, over here, I'm holding my tripod up, so that's why it might be a bit weird. I've got a little lion, who reminds me of Phil Lester because of reasons. Then I have a giant bunny, for reasons. I have Pudsey, who's the mascot for Children in Need. I have my guard bear thing, which is in the suit of one of the guards outside the Queen's Palace, Buckingham Palace, and it's really cute, but you can't really see it back there. And then finally here I have my London Eye bear, which is adorable. And then at the back I have my Harrods bear, which is equally adorable. Okay, so because I am really short, I cannot reach this top shelf without standing on something. So currently I am standing on a buffet, and it's, yeah, embarrassing, I know, but still, my tripod doesn't reach this high either, so we share something in common. So I am going to show you these, but these are actually really tightly packed, so I can't really slide them out really easily. So if I can't get one back in, this is going to be hell. Okay, let's do this, guys, we can do this. So I have Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I can do this, I can get them all back in. No, I can't. I have Love You to Death and High Stakes, which is a bind-up of the first 2 books in the Mediator series by Meg Cabot. This is going to be hell. Please go back in that gap. It's not going to go back in. Yes, it is. It will. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I have Maximum Ride The Angel Experiment by James Patterson. Might just slide them out like that, actually, rather than pulling them full out. Then I have The Sight by David Clement Davis, which I bought because Jack from Reading with Jack suggested that I should read it. I've got Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake. One Day by David Nichols, which I haven't read, but I got on a car boot sale, so free books, pretty much. Let's do it. Owen Colfer's Artemis Fowl, which I haven't read either, which everyone says is brilliant, but I haven't read because I suck. I've got Across the Universe by Beth Revis, which everyone raved about a couple of years ago, but I still haven't read that either. I've got Frozen in Time by Ali Sparks. I should probably move back a bit, you can't even see the full book here. I've got Eragon by Christopher Polini. Fallen by Lauren Kate. Bitten by Kelly Armstrong. Oops, that one's coming out again. Blood Red Road by Moira Young. Yikes, they're tight. They're really tight. I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Law, which is the first in the Lorien Legacies. Then I have the second book in the Lorien Legacies by Pittacus Law, which is The Power of Six, and I've just pulled that out. That was the biggest mistake of my life. Please go back in that gap. Thank you very much. Then I've got Pegasus and the Flame by Kate O'Hearn. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. It's becoming increasingly hard to see because I'm moving and leaning. This is going well. I've missed one. Duh. I've got Stormbreaker by Anthony Horowitz, which is the first in the Alex Rider series. I've got Ravensgate, which is the first book in The Power of Five by Anthony Horowitz. Eon, Rise of the Dragon Eye by Alison Goodman, which I picked up because Adam from A Rick Time Read said that was a really good book. I've got The Island by Sarah Singleton, which I picked up in Publisher's Book Clearance, which was cheap, so why not? Young Samurai, The Way of the Warrior by Chris Bradford. The Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole by Catherine Lasky. Above the Veil, which is some book in the Seventh Tower, and I don't know which one it is, by Garth Nix. The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson. Jonas Jonasson. That is a really weird name. Then I've got Matched by Ali Condi. I think it's Condi, or if it isn't, it's Condal. But I think it is Condi. And then finally, we have Geek Girl by Holly Smale, who I've been talking to on Twitter today. She's lovely. Yay! My voice is really stressed already, and I've only done one shelf. Not doing well, but what do you guess? What do you guess is inside here? I'm not going to tell you, but guess what's in it, and if you're right, you will get a free internet cookie. Let us progress. Okay, I think you guys can see all of these. I think they're all in frame. So let us begin on shelf 2, which is my Erin Hunter library, which will be fun. So, at this end, we have Seeker's Book 1, which is The Quest Begins, and these are all by Erin Hunter, like I just said, apart from this one little thing here, which is on here because it's by one of the authors, which is an Erin, because there's 5 Erins. It's a pseudonym for 5 people, Erin Hunter, so that's why it's on here. But anyway, Gillian Phillip, who is the newest member, who is helping them with their new series called Survivors, she writes her own novels, and she sent me this little thing, which is an extract of Wolfsbane, which is one of her books. And check this out, she signed it. It says, "To Georgina, with best wishes, Gillian Phillip." And she did this little cool drawing thing on it, so that's cool. So I should really put that there, to be honest, but I didn't. So there we go, now it's there. First 6 books here are the first 6 books in the Warriors series overall, but these are the original series, so this is going to get a bit complicated, but you guys can understand, I'm sure. So in Series 1, the original series, we have Into the Wild, Fire and Ice, Forest of Secrets, Rising Storm, A Dangerous Path, and lastly, we have The Darkest Hour, which is my favourite cover of the original series, because I just really love this little thing here, because in the books there's something called Lion Clan and Tiger Clan and this kind of stuff, and it has the reflection of a lion, which is cool. So yeah. Second series is The New Prophecy, and each of the series includes 6 books. So there are 4 series currently, but the 5th one's being written. And I've got Series 1, 2, 3, and then the first 2 books in Series 4. We'll get to the rest, but that's what I've got in terms of the actual series books. So starting with Series 2, which is The New Prophecy, we have Midnight, Moonrise, Dawn, Starlight, Twilight, which everyone gets confused with the other Twilight if I mention it, and finally Sunset, which the edge is slowly peeling and it's really annoying, but still, it's okay. And now I'm going to go around the other side of the camera because otherwise my head's going to be in the way for everything. So over this side we have Series 3, which came in a box set, but I took the box off because they were so tightly packed in I couldn't even get them out, so it was just a pain, so I took them out. So in Series 3, which is The Power of 3, we have The Sight, Dark River, Outcast, Eclipse, which is my favourite cover of this series. It is just awesome looking. Oops. Long Shadows, which is my least favourite just because it's green and I hate green. And Sunrise, which is the last one in this series, and this is the actual cover that's on the box that I just mentioned, so that's cool. So now I have the first 2 books in The Omen of the Stars, which is Series 4, and Series 5 is Dawn of the Clans, and that will be chronologically set before Series 1 over there. So in Series 4, Omen of the Stars, we have The Fourth Apprentice, and Fading Echoes. And I have no idea what happens past series 1 because I haven't read any of these yet. So I've spent quite a lot of money on all these books and I haven't even read them, so yeah, I'm going to get to them eventually though. So here I have 5 super editions, which are basically extra books which don't impact on the series. They're a bit like, they focus on specific characters and they're usually important characters and they explain their lives and their things like that. So I have Blue Star's Prophecy, which focuses on Blue Star. Firestar's Quest, which focuses on Firestar. SkyClan's Destiny, which I think focuses on the clan which existed called SkyClan, which doesn't actually exist anymore. I know that much, even though I haven't read past series 1. I have Crooked Star's Promise, which focuses on Crooked Star. And finally here I have Yellowfang's Secret, which focuses on Yellowfang, which is an awesome character. I love her so much, and I'm really sad. Just really sad. And then finally, at the end here, I have Survivors, The Empty City, which is the first book in the new Survivors series. And this one's about dogs, and like I said, Seekers is about bears, and Warriors is obviously about cats. So yeah, that is the last book there, and I'm just going to slide all these back over because I think I've nudged them. My head is getting closer. It's not in shot. It isn't. It is, but oh well. Okay, so on the next shelf down we have even more YA, because this is pretty much my YA bookshelf. So hopefully I'm going to pick up some of these soon, because I haven't read many of these books yet. But I have read the first ones in a few of the series, so that's a bit dodgy. But still, we will move on eventually. I'm just terrible at moving on in series. So first I have Starcrossed, which is the first in a trilogy by Josephine Angelini. And I think the other 2 books are called Dreamless and Goddess, because I was looking at this earlier actually, so I think that's what they're called. Haven't read this because I suck, but it's an intimidatingly long book, guys. You have to forgive me for that. Next to that I have Wolf Brother by Michelle Paver, and this is the first in the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness series. And I picked up this book because Jack from Reading with Jack said it was good, and obviously he recommended to me Warriors, which is up there. And I love animal stories, so this looks to be a really good book that I'll really sink my teeth into and enjoy, because I love wolves more than any other animal, just because they remind me of myself for some bizarre reason. Then I have The Life of Pi by Jan Martel, which the film The Life of Pi was based off of, the new one. Then I have Hush Hush and Crescendo by Becca Fitzpatrick, which are in the Hush Hush series. I don't know how many books there are in this actually, but I know there's more than this. So I'm hopefully going to pick up those eventually, if there are more. I have Hush Hush, which is book 1, and I have to reread this soon so I can move on to Crescendo, which I haven't actually read yet. And then, obviously, as you can see, I have Crescendo, which has a shiny cover in comparison to the plain one of Hush Hush, which is kind of irritating, but it's the matching cover, so I don't really mind as much. I think they just had a bit of a mini design change. Then I have The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and I'm unsure about reading this because I hated the Fellowship of the Ring, which is the first in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I have been recommended to read this even though I didn't like the Fellowship of the Ring, because apparently it's different and it's more child-based and stuff like that, so apparently it's much better to some people and then it's just enjoyable to others. So I'm really looking forward to picking it up, but I'm probably not going to see the film, because from what I heard it was pretty much just some guys walking around for about 3 hours, so I'm not going to go watch that. But apparently it was a good 3 hours of walking to fans, so yeah, maybe I will eventually lower myself to watching it. Then I have Inkheart by Cornelia Funk, or Funky, I'm not really sure how you say her name. But I was really surprised that I hadn't picked this up earlier when I finally read the blurb, because I was like, holy crap, this sounds really good. But I'd never picked it up just because I didn't really fancy it from what I'd heard in terms of reviews. But then I picked up the back and I was like, oh my god, this sounds so good. So I finally picked it up from The Works, which is an awesome bookstore in the UK. Definitely check it out because it has great offers on books. It is awesome. Next to that I have 2 YA horrors, and these are in a series. I think it's just called The Dead series, and I didn't mean to say The Dead because it's the first book's called The Dead, so I think it's probably just going to be The Dead series or whatever. So we have The Dead and the Dark, but the third book, The Damned, is in a bookshop waiting for me to eventually purchase it. I haven't got it yet. But this is a trilogy by David Gatwood, and I've met him and he's lovely, so even though he writes scary things about heaven and hell and demons, he's really nice. So I have The Dead, which, ugly, and then this one's even worse, and I think The Damned is even worse than The Dark, so we have this. And then you have The Damned, which is terribly scary, but I don't have it, but I've seen the cover because I'm cheap, and I couldn't afford the third one when I met him, but on these two he did actually sign them because he's awesome. He said, "Enjoy the blood." That's just lovely, isn't it? So yeah, there we go. Then I have the first in the Chaos Walking trilogy by Patrick Mess, which is The Knife of Never Letting Go. And I think I read this for my local book awards a couple of years ago and I didn't really like it, but I picked it up because I thought I was judging this in a very limited space of time, and if I'd read it more thoroughly I suspected that I might enjoy it more. So I picked it up, and it is, you know, still unread. It's been here for about 3 years now, but I still haven't read it. So I am hopefully going to pick up this eventually, or maybe sometime soon in summer, maybe if I have time after my other 66 books. So, then I have another book by Patrick Ness, which I saw in Sainsbury's, and it was really cheap, so I thought, why not? It is A Monster Calls, and everyone says this is really good, and the Times apparently says it's outstanding, and the Independent says it's brave and beautiful, and the Daily Mail says it's exceptional and shines with compassion. So this sounds like a brilliant book, and it's really thin, so I might tackle this to see if I enjoy his writing style, and then tackle that again later. Next to that, I have Graceling by Kristin Cashore, and I haven't read this yet either. Can't quite remember why I picked this up, but I think it's because someone recommended it to me, and I really liked the person that did it whenever they did. So yeah, that's why I have that. Next to that I have Vampirates, Demons of the Ocean by Justin Somper, and I've met him as well. But I don't think I got this signed because I bought the book after I'd met him. It was sort of he was at school to do an event, and then I met, him at that. But then I didn't actually have any of his books, so I bought this afterwards. So yeah, that's the first in a long series. I think there's loads of books in it. I'm not actually sure how many there are, but I know there's a lot of them. So beware. Then I have a Darren Shan book. I have Lord Loss, and I've never read any of these books, but I have this, and it's been here for a long time. This is another book I bought at the works, but I still haven't read it, so I'm looking forward to reading this eventually, because this is short as well, so it shouldn't take me too long to do. Then I have the first in the Time Riders series by Alex Scarrow, which is just known as Time Riders, and this sounds really interesting because I love time travel stuff and sci-fi stuff, so looks good to me. Hopefully I'll enjoy it. Now comes that part of the video where I go around the other side of the camera, so I don't go in the middle. Woo! So now I'm here, which is The Snow Child by, I think it's Owen Ivy, and I picked this up at the same time as getting A Monster Calls, because they had similar covers, and I'd heard a lot about this, and it just looks really good. And it has a little wolf on it. Love wolves, like I just said, so it's definitely going to be an interesting book for me to read. Then I have Seven Ancient Wonders by Matthew Riley. One of my ex-best friends, we used to be best friends, but now we're not talking as much anymore. He recommended this to me because he was reading a different book in form when we were at school. And I picked this up because it sounded like the most interesting book out of all of Matthew Riley's at the time that I found. And I'm really interested in the world and different cultures and the different things and the Seven Ancient Wonders of the world, and I haven't seen any of them. So this might be interesting to read about all of that. I think it's some kind of crime, mystery, spy novel or something. I don't really know. Obviously, I have the Twilight series by Stephanie Meyer. I have only read Twilight and I stopped about 3 pages before the end because I couldn't take any more. It's not that I didn't enjoy it, it's more like I was getting really confused about what was going on and I was desperate to read. I think it was The Fault in Our Stars instead, so then I just was like, no, I'm not reading this. But yeah, I did pick up the entire series for reasons unbeknownst to me. So I have Twilight, which is book 1. I have New Moon in the movie cover, which I despise. so much because it doesn't match my other books, but eventually I will purchase the other cover to match and then sell off this one. Then I have Eclipse, which is book 3. And finally, with my favourite cover, just because it's got a chess piece on, we have Breaking Dawn, woo! Which I got under a bridge in London, I believe, because this guy was selling loads of books on a stand and I saw it and I was like, yes, I want this, I need this to finish the series, but I haven't read past Twilight, so yeah. Then I have 3 books in the Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare, who I'm sure all of you know that I met last year or the year before with Jack, reading with Jack. Can I stop mentioning him yet? No. So yeah, I got these signed, so I will show you one of the signatures, which someone on Nerds Read Bookishly said was fake, but we watched her write it, so yeah, I don't understand how that works. And by someone on Nerds Read Bookishly, I mean someone commented on the video of us meeting her, so yeah, that was a bit weird. But anyway, there's City of Bones, City of Ashes, and City of Glass, and if I just briefly show you the signature, it's there. It says Cassie Clare. Is that better? Can you see it? Okay. So I have that one, which was cool. Then I have City of Ashes, and I've only read City of Bones. I'm yet to move on. Yet another series that I haven't really moved on with. And then finally I have City of Glass, which is book 3. I think there's City of Fallen Angels and City of something else that comes after. So I think it's Fallen Angels that comes next, but it might be something before that and then that. But yeah, something comes after this, and then there's a final book, which is the 5th one, I think. I have the first book in the Infernal Devices. Yep, the Infernal Devices. And this is a prequel series to the Mortal Instruments, and Jack loves this. Let's mention him again. Just throw him in there. This is Clockwork Angel, and I think I got this signed as well. Did I? Yay, look! She wrote my name in it, For Georgina, by Cassie Clare. Where, is that her real signature or not, guys? It has to be, doesn't it? It's got my own... Yeah, anyway. So I have that, and then finally here, which the lovely Madison sent me from America, who is Slightly Bookish blog, and she was Wednesday on Nerds Read Bookishly. She sent me this taster chapter thing of Clockwork Angel in manga form, which is awesome. I haven't read it though, because obviously I haven't read Clockwork Angel, so I wouldn't want to spoil it for myself, but that is awesome. Thank you so much, Mads. I still love you, even though we don't talk. I sent your book, by the way, today. The 7th book in Skullduggery Great Pleasant. I sent you it. So, oh, I finished the shelf. Okay, let's move on. 4th shelf, we have even more YA. Yay! So, I am gonna briefly show you these. Well, not briefly, but, you know, my camera's running out, I've just noticed. So, we're gonna try and go faster with this. So, at this end, I have a limited edition Scarefest 3 Beyond the Book collection of short stories, which Curtis Jobling, who wrote Werewolf, which I showed you the books of last time in part 1, he gave me this because he's awesome, and there's 6 authors in this, I think, and guess what? He got it signed for me! Isn't that awesome? That is just brilliant. There is Philip Cavaney, Tommy Dombavand, David Gatwood, who wrote The Dead and the Damned and The Dark, Barry Hutchinson, Joseph Delaney, who wrote the Spooks books, I think, and then Curtis Jobling, who got me it, and I love it so much. So thank you, Curtis, if you're watching this. I doubt you are, though. If you were going to watch any of them, it would be the one that your books are in, and that was last time, so yeah, thank you. Then I have the first 2 books in the Cherub series by Robert Muchamore. I have The Recruit. I spent ages trying to figure out which book was the first one, and then I realised The Recruit kind of sounds like the first stage in a big long mission thing, so I finally picked up this. And then I asked the guy who recommended them to me from school which book came next, and that is Class A. So I'm looking forward to reading those. I have no idea, apart from that they're teenage spies or something, about what these are about. These are never going to go back in there. Yes, they are. They are. Come on. Okay, I'm going to take that out because that will go back in afterwards. There we go. Then I have Running on the Cracks by Julia Donaldson, yet another book I read for the Book Awards a couple of years ago. Oh god, I'm going to have to slide these back in properly now because I don't have the room to actually manoeuvre So yeah. Then I have Boys Don't Cry by Mallory Blackman, who I think has just become the Children's Laureate. So congrats to her for that. I don't really agree with what she's saying about education. I think she said something that I didn't particularly agree with, but yeah, it still sounds good. That sounds like a good position for her to be in, because she's apparently an amazing writer. Then I have Malice and Havoc, which I think are the only 2 books in this duology by Chris Wooding. I love the cover to Malice, and you're going to see why, but I sort of hate it as well because it takes up so much room. It's pop out. Can you see this? Can you see? It is literally something stuck on the front of the book, but with the book cover on, and it's got this squishy thing on it, and there's a little white thing because that's what it adheres to up here, but still. Actually, that might come off. Oh, it comes off. I never knew. Oh well. But yeah, this is awesome. It is literally 3D and squishy, so you can have fun whilst reading the book. You can literally squash him if he's evil. I think he might be the evil guy. He looks vaguely evil. So yeah, you can squish it. And this is an interesting series, by the way, because it's half novel and half graphic novel. It switches. Isn't that awesome? And then I have the sequel, not the series, and that's Havoc, which is the same apart from the fact that it doesn't have a pop-out cover, which is why can't they match? But I suppose that Malice was a one-off just to attract people's attention with that awesome cover. So yeah, poke that back in. Then I have The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, and I did like this, but it wasn't as good as everyone made it out to be, I have to say. It was still a lovely book though, and it was really sad, but not as good as I expected. Then I have 3 books by Maggie Stavata, and I've not read any of them, but still, they look good, and that's the good thing. I have The Raven Boys, which is on its own. Is it a standalone? I have no idea. But I'm making stuff up now because I literally have no idea. Then I have Shiver, which I think is the first in the series. I think there are more in this, and I found this in the works as well, so that's why I have this one. And then finally, if I can get this back in at all, I have The Scorpio Races, which my good friend Ashley from America said was a really good book, and she's obsessed. So I bought this, which I hope will be good. So, yeah, let's try and put that back in. Then I have some books by Scott Westerfeld, which I can't get out all of them because they're stuck to my Joshua Files books. That's just one I've pulled already. The heat is unbearable. I have Leviathan, which is by Scott Westerfeld, obviously. Then I have the Uglies. Is there a name for a 4-book series? Quadrilogy or something? Is that a word? No? Okay, so I'm going to try and get these unstuck. There we go. So I have Uglies, Pretties, Specials and Extras, and I think I plan to read these in summer. I'm not actually sure anymore, because I'm reading so much. So I have Uglies. Stop falling over, guys, it's not funny. Pretties. I've read Uglies and Pretties, but I haven't read Specials or Extras yet. Specials. And then finally I have Extras, and I'm glad that I got all of them in matching covers because they're really nice covers. So yeah, yay! Then I have the 5 books. Oops, I have Sophie Mackenzie stuck to the other side. I should be moving around actually. Let's do that now. Okay, we're at the other side. I have the full collection of Joshua Files books by M.G. Harris, which have the cool slip-on cover things that glow in the dark, freak you out, and then pretty much are just plain awesome. So we have, if I can unstick these from each other, they all look the same except with different covers. So yeah, different covers, different colours. Guys, I am gonna perish in this heat. So we have Invisible City, I Shock, Zero Moment, Dark Parallel, and finally Apocalypse Moon, which has the darkest one, so I assume something terrible happens, and I assume it's black because the moon is black and white in shadow and light, so yeah. That rhymed, that was cool. And then the rest of the shelf is books by Sophie Mackenzie, who is another of my favourite authors. So I have not the first two books, the only two books in the Blood duology. I'm just going to make up words to describe these books. So I have Blood Ties and Blood Ransom, and these are the only two books in that series, and it's about a boy called Theo and a girl called Rachel, I think. Is it Rachel? Yeah, it is. And they have had genetic manipulation stuff, and they find out that they've been lied to all their lives, and it's really, really good. So I would recommend those to you. I can't really remember what either of them are about because I haven't read them in so long, but they were absolutely amazing, so you should definitely check them out. Then I have Girl Missing and Sister Missing, which are the first two books in the Missing series. There isn't really a name for it, but there's Girl Missing and Sister Missing, and then there's Missing Me, which I think comes after that. So that's cool. These are also really good. I think these are about, I don't know what they're about. I'm not going to even lie. I don't know what they're about anymore. Need to read all of these again. And then I have most of the books. I think there could possibly be some more eventually in the Medusa Project series, and these are all by Sophie Mackenzie, and I haven't read any of them, which won't surprise many of you, to be honest. I just buy loads of books and then don't read them for a long time. So in order, if I get them right, this is about genetic manipulation and stuff as well, so this will be interesting. We have The Setup, Hostage, The Rescue, Hunted, Double Cross, and finally Hit Squad. And I haven't read any of these, but they're really short, so it's really easy to pick up. And I put them in the order that I bought them, so I don't even know if that's the right order for them to go in. But I think it might be, so I am going to trust my buying order, and that won't go back in now. There we go. Forcing it in. So that's that shelf, and that was just stuck out a mile. So we are going to move on to the second to last shelf now. This is as low as my tripod gets, I'm afraid, so we're going to be crawling on our bellies on the floor next, which will be fun to no end. So on this shelf I have, the first thing isn't even a book, it's actually my London 2012 50p collection. They issued one for each sport, and it was pretty much awesome. Oops. I do have other coins in here as well. I'll show you those in a minute, but yeah. I have the complete collection thanks to my sister, who was pretty much obsessed with collecting all of these. And I'm not, in fact I will. They've got aquatics, archery, athletics, boxing, canoeing, cycling, goalball, which I have no idea what that is, I've never heard of it, gymnastics, handball, rowing, sailing, shooting, triathlon, volleyball, weightlifting. I've not even got an alphabetical order, I am sucking at this. Badminton, basketball, washer, equestrian events, which is horse riding, fencing, football, hockey, judo, modern pentathlon, table tennis, taekwondo, tennis, wheelchair rugby, wrestling, and that should be my completer medallion, but it's actually just a regular Olympics thing, because my completer medallion is here, which is cool, which I don't think, oh, it is focusing, there we go, and that's of the stadium in London. And then the two other coins I have, I kept this because I'm so nerdy, it's actually book related too, so this is what makes this entire thing appropriate. It is, if it'll focus, come on, you can do this. Okay, I don't think it'll focus. It's basically 150 years of public libraries, which is cool. Look at it. It's of a book and a library, so that's good. And then because I'm an animal fanatic, I also have a WWF coin. It's designed to help preserve animals and stuff, so that's cool. If I faint whilst this is running, I will blame all of you. Just saying. I'm kidding, I'm not actually going to blame you, but if I do die, it's your fault. So I'll put that back. Then I've got, oh no, my coins! Oh well. I've got The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Lani Taylor. Why won't it go back in? Go back in there. Thank you. Then I have, this is a massive book. I did a special video about this, I think. Someone requested an up-close video of this, and it is The Complete Works of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which is massive. This is massive! It's over 1,000 pages long, this thing, so only read if you're brave, and it is an awesome looking edition. It's all golden and lovely, and I'm really excited to read all about these because I love Sherlock, the TV show, so I recommend this to you guys. Put that back. Then I have House of Secrets by Chris Columbus and Ned Vizzini, which I'm reading for summer. I have Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, which I haven't read yet, but I'm planning on reading for summer as well. Oops, Michael McIntyre, what are you doing? Stop it. Then I have Life and Laughing by Michael McIntyre. I think it's his autobiography or biography, and this is my mum's, but she hasn't read it because she buys books and then never reads them because she's not a reader. But I am going to read it because he's a really funny guy, and I really love his sketches. I have 3 of his DVDs or something that me and my mum share and laugh at so much. So I'm looking forward to reading about his life and how he got to where he is. Then I've got another book in my mum's, and it is Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson, and this actually sounds really good. It sounds like something I'll enjoy reading, but she bought this for herself and then gave it to me to put on my bookshelf so it didn't get ruined, and then she hasn't read it, so that's how this has ended up here. The next one is going to make me feel intensely guilty, because I got sent this by the author, and it is The Bridge of Deaths by M.C.V. Egan, and I have no idea what it's about. But I am a part of a group on Facebook called Wanda's Amazing Amazon Reviewers, or WAR, and we basically review books free of charge for authors in exchange for giving them reviews on Amazon. And once they reach 50, I think Amazon does this promotion thing, so it's basically about getting authors' books more noticed. And she was one of the authors of the month or something, and she asked if anyone wanted a review copy of her book, and she sent me this. It says the date in it because she signed it. She wrote me this giant paragraph, and I honestly felt really guilty. She sent me this in July 2012, so that's exactly a year ago. Look, July 2012, from something beach somewhere. And it says, to Georgina, may all the bridges you cross lead to great success. MCV, and I'm going to read this. I am actually going to read it and eventually send her the review I promised her, because I feel really bad that I haven't actually read it. And it probably, how much is it? Does it have a price in it? Should do, somewhere. No, it doesn't actually have a price on it, but I bet it would be something like $9.99, so I've pretty much ripped her off. So I will read and review it eventually. Not eventually, soon, I promise. Then I have the Versailles Visitor's Guide, and I bought this in English because I went to France, and we went to Versailles, the Palace of Versailles, and looked around, and it was really, really good and really interesting. And I was interested to read about the history of the palace because I loved the episode of Doctor Who, which was The Girl in the Fireplace, and it was about, what's her name, Madame de Pompadour, who was King Louis something's wife, I think, and yeah, that just made me cry. So I was really interested to go to Versailles, and I've learnt all about the Treaty of Versailles and all that stuff. So I read this, and I did enjoy it. It was really, really informative, but it was dull at the same time, so it wasn't the greatest thing I ever read. Then I have Dancing Jacks by Robin Jarvis, and I remember Deborah from Deborah's Book Cafe making a video about this absolutely ages ago. And when I saw it, I didn't know what it was about, but because she'd made a video and I remembered watching it like a year before I saw it, I thought, I am going to buy this and I am eventually going to read it. Put that back. But I remember Deborah's video, so I'm looking forward to reading that. Then I have Divergent by Veronica Roth. I haven't read this, but I'm planning on reading it in summer, and it's going to be one of my first reads once I've finished my ARCs and my borrowed books and my library books. So this is going to be one of the first ones I read, because this is the founding father, pretty much, of a lot of dystopian novels now, so I'm really looking forward to reading it and finding out what all the hype was about. So I'll put that back, going around the other side, because this is the point where I start losing myself. Then I have The Creature of the Night by Kate Thompson, and this is my friend's favourite book, my best friend's favourite book, so I'm looking forward to reading this. And he says it's really good, but I don't know if it's going to be my kind of thing, but it's an award-winning book, so I assume it's going to be a good book, even if it isn't generally my kind of thing. Put that back. Then I have a book on how to look after hamsters, because I did once have a hamster, and I needed to know how to look after it. And it is How to Care for Your Hamster by Mary Appleton. And it has lots of cute pictures of hamsters in it, which is all I pretty much use it for now, because my hamster died quite a few years ago. This is pretty much what my hamster looked like. He was called Jetster, and he was a feisty little bugger. He would bite you, and I actually saw a hamster the other day that my grandma was looking after for her next door neighbour, and she said, don't put your finger in there, it will bite you. And what did I do? Put my finger in, and it bit me. So yeah, I could have got tetanus from a hamster, because I'm a stupid idiot, but it was brave, okay? I battled the hamster, and my mark's gone. It was on my finger, but it's gone now. It's gone now. Terrible. Just gonna have a quick drink, because I deserve a drink. Back to Dr. Pepper. That is not a hint, by the way, as to what was in my cup. It's not a hint. It wasn't this, but that means it can only be one thing, and it's not water. And I'm not going to tell you what it's not anymore. What am I doing? I'm ruining the guess. No, not doing any more. Okay. Here, I have the first two bind-ups of the Thirst books, or something, by Chris Pike. I think it's Chris Pike. Is it Christopher? Yeah, it is Christopher Pike. I've seen these on somebody else's shelves, whose video I watched, but I don't know who it is. Might have been Brad from Bookway and Review. I think it might have been him. So I have the first one, and the second one, and I haven't read either of these, but I think it's about vampires, so yeah, that'll be interesting. Then I have Tiger Wars by Steve Backshall, and I bought this along with a bunch of other books a while ago, and I was just pretty much allowed to buy whatever I wanted, so I picked up this just because it was there. It was a bit of an impulse buy, so I'm looking forward to reading it, even though I don't really know what it is. Then I've got a bind up of some books. I'm sitting on the floor because I'm lazy and it's too warm. And this is a read edition, and I have no idea where it came from. I know it was one of my brother's books or sister's books, and in it has King of the Golden Valley, The Hunt for Red October, which I've heard of because I think it's a film, This Giving Heart, and The Seventh Secret. So yeah, I have this, which has a very interesting cover. So yeah, I don't know what that's about, but it has a little tassel thing that you use a bookmark for. Look! Yay! That's just going to stick out now. That's going to look... Let's just put that back in there. Oh, it was my sister's book! Look! Stephanie Howell at age 10. It was my sister's book. Mystery solved, guys. Mystery solved. Then I have some kids' books, pretty much. I have this. It's Read Me First, Poems for Younger Readers for Every Day of the Year. So if you guys want me to find out your poem, it has every day of the year. So tell me your birthday. That is the thing in the comments. Leave your birthday, and I will type you up as a comment response to your poem. P.S. If it's really long, I'll send you a message instead, because I literally will not type it all up in comments. That would be stupid. Then I have Best Loved Goodnight Tales, which is basically a collection of fairy tales, I think, something like that. So that sounds interesting enough. I don't really know what it's about. Sorry about that, my camera just completely cut out for a minute there, which is kind of awkward. But I just finished with the Goodnight Tales book, and now I'm on to this, which is basically the same as the other Read Me First, but this is, Read Me and Laugh, a funny poem for every day of the year. So this is by Gabby Morgan. The ones that are in it are chosen by Gabby Morgan. And this is basically the same thing. So if you do leave your birthday in the comments, I will pick one of the two books to choose a poem out of, and then I will give you it in either the comments or a message, because I think that would be a nice thing to do. And actually, just before I do this, I might actually see what my poem is and read it out to you, because that would be quite cool. So let's have a look. Mine will be near the front, so it shouldn't be too hard to find, because I do kind of read. Oh wow, my poem is, in this one is 4 lines long. So I was born on the 30th of January, so I'm just going to go behind the camera and sort of hold it in front so you can read it at the same time as me reading it. So let's do this. So it's called The Blue Room. My room is blue, the carpet's blue, the chairs are blue, the door's blue too. A bluebird flew in yesterday. I don't know if it's flown away. So it's basically a poem about having a bluebird fly in and he can't see it because everything's blue. So it's disguised, which is cool. And that's by Richard Edwards. So that's mine. So I will tell you yours when I find out your birthdays and that sort of stuff. So I'll put that back. I won't do my other one just for time reasons because I know this is already nearly an hour long. So I will preserve the time that we do have left. So I have 2 of these. These are basically out of the video boxes that I got with my Disney films. I have Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King. And these are on here plainly because I don't actually know how they fit in the video box. And they're kind of old and bent now. But it's basically a picture book for kids that you can read along with the film. And it's got like Mufasa and Simba and, you know, that's cool. So it's basically like that. And the Beauty and the Beast one's pretty much the same. It's just like a storybook with writing in big font. So that's kind of cool. I do like reading those because it's like an easy and quick way to basically watch the film, but you're reading it instead, so it's cool. Like that. I just said dat. I'm never saying dat again. I've got 4 of the Peter Rabbit Library, I think they are, books by Beatrix Potter, and I'm not really a fan as much, but I haven't read all of them, so that could be why. So out of these I have, I'm just going to try and get these in frame, I have The Tale of Mr. Jeremy Fisher, The Tale of Jemima Puddle Duck, The Tale of Benjamin Bunny, and The Tailor of Gloucestershire. Or Gloucester, actually. Gloucestershire. I'm adding "shire" on the end, just for no reason. So yeah, I have those 4, which is cool. Gonna try and put those back there. Here I have another Beauty and the Beast thing. And this is a read and colour fun. So it's basically the same story, but you can colour it in. And because I'm so talented... Actually, this was my sister's first. This is probably her excellent colouring. I haven't really done much. And it's also got The Lion and the Carpenter in, apparently. The Lion and the Carpenter. So yeah, that's in there too. My dad got me this, and I have to say, I don't think I will like it very much. But I took it because it's cool. It is A Christmas Carol, the Unsung Story by Brian Sibley. And this is a book which actually includes the original text of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and I've never read A Christmas Carol, so I am intending to read this soon, and it's got like illustrations and stuff in as well, so that's quite good, but it's not my favourite, I have to say. It's not my favourite. Then here I have my Tower of London book, which is a bit like the Versailles book, but it's about the Tower of London, and it basically talks about the different things in the Tower of London. Funnily enough, that's pretty much it. I'm not really going to expand on that. And finally on the shelf we have the 4 Watership Down books, which I showed in my summer reads video when I was on about reading the actual book Watership Down, which I've borrowed from my ex-media teacher. So these are actually kids' books and they're really big, so that's why they're on the end. And I have Primrose's Great Escape, and these are all by Diane Redmond. Primrose's Great Escape, Fiver's Bad Luck, Hazel Raids the Farm, and Hookbit's Discovery. And this one was my favourite because it was just so clumsy and cute and awkward. So yeah, I have got those there. Final shelf, guys. You ready? It's time for some stomach crawling action. I'm currently laid on the floor and I'm going to move because this is handheld and I have nothing to do this low shelf with apart from the small tripod which I've put somewhere that I can't find. So this, if you couldn't tell already, is basically my manga shelf. It is full of manga and stuff related to manga. So we are going to do a brief tour of this. And then that will conclude this part of the bookshelf tour. So here, I'm going to use the floor because this is going to be a good space. This is the All Colour But the Black art book. And this is basically the art of the manga and anime Bleach by Teach Kubo, and it's basically full of really cool pictures, and I love it so much. It is just so awesome, and it has so many nice pictures in. The art is incredible. Look at the detail and the colour and all this stuff. That's an extract from the actual manga. It's just so good. So good. So I love that a lot. Here I have the official Bleach character book, the first one. I think there's another one actually that I need to get. And this basically talks about all the different characters, and it has different extracts from the manga in, and it talks about all the, you know, attributes and their power levels and who could beat who. It's just basically a really big guide about each character and some of the settings, written by the author slash artist. I just dropped the book because this thing is in the way, and I'm going to put that back in. God, that sounded weird. This is just in there because it's Bleach related. My friend got this as a gift, and it is basically a little collection of all the swords which are used, and these can be attached to necklace straps and you can wear them. So yeah, thank you so much, Becky. I love you. I just need to throttle you now because you hacked my Twitter, because I left it logged in on your iPod from when you came to stay in my house. So yeah, I didn't appreciate that much. But anyway, here I have the first 20 volumes of Bleach. I think there are about 60 or something now, insane numbers. So I haven't got all of those yet, but I intend to because I really enjoy the manga. So I'm going to attempt to show you these in a orderly fashion without the camera strap getting in the way again. So I'm going to put the camera strap in my mouth and then just show you them, so I hope that's okay. Here we go. That's how he has. Okay, now on. This is going so awkward. This is not going to go. This one's so... Okay. Okay, guys. Number 2, 3, 4. That sounds... Oh god, that's 4, not a different word. 5, 6. This sounds so... 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That tastes disgusting. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put it around my wrist. That was the more sensible suggestion, but still. So yeah, I'm just going to put it around my wrist because that tasted absolutely foul. So yeah, I have the first 5 volumes of Naruto next, and this is the original Naruto, not Naruto Shippuden. This Naruto goes on for 28 volumes, and then after that it goes on to Shippuden, which is set 2 years after the original, after Naruto has completed his training with Jiraiya. So yeah, I know all that, and I just kept watching random fights on YouTube the other day, so that's why. So I have Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, and Volume 5. So, Bleach is the one that I watch and read most, then Naruto, then Otoman, then One Piece, and then all the rest. But, oops, that's the wrong one. I have the bind up of the first 3, not Otoman, that's next, One Piece volumes by Ichiro Oda, and this is by Masashi Kishimoto, I forgot about that. But this is by Ichiro Oda, and this is awesome. I am so surprised that I didn't read this before. It's about a guy called Monkey D. Luffy, and he wants to be a pirate, but he eats the gum fruit, and that turns him into this sort of, what's the word, mutation, who can stretch. He's a bit like Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four, but he can't swim, and if he can't swim, he can't be a pirate, because a pirate is on the sea, and if he falls in, he pretty much dies. So he's in peril, but he still wants to achieve his goal of being a pirate, so that's kind of cool. Then I have Otaman, which is the cutest manga ever. I swear to God, it is absolutely awesome. It's about a guy called Asuka Masamune, who is pretty much the manliest man you could ever imagine on the outside, but on the inside he really loves cute things like cute animals, stuffed toys. He likes to cook, he likes to clean, he likes making little toys for people and meals, he likes making bento lunches, and it's not manly for men to do that in Japan, and it's sort of this stereotype type thing. And he's an otaman, which is the word for a girly guy. So he's had a bad experience with that because his father was the same way, and his mother resents his father for being like that, but she doesn't want him to turn out like his father, so she sends him to kendo classes and stuff like that. So it's basically about him learning to accept himself and finding the friends that will accept him for who he is and all that stuff. So it's really cool. So that's Asuka there, wearing a flower in his hair. I'm looking really embarrassed about it. So that's volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, and he falls in love with this girl called Rio, and his and her relationship progresses, and they have this friend. He secretly is this shoujo manga artist, and he is thought to be in the world a girl, but his identity as the author of this comic is so secret because he doesn't want anyone to find out, and he basically bases his comics off of their relationship, Rio and Asuka's relationship. So it's really cool. I don't even know what volume I was up to. I think it was 4, and that's someone else, but yeah. There's volume 5, and then this is volume 7, and that's Asuka and Rio on the front. Juta, that's his name, the guy who does the comics. Oh my gosh, that was just really bad. Okay, then I have the first volume of Blue Exorcist by Kazu Kato, and this is pretty freaky, but it's pretty damn awesome at the same time. I have 2 Pokemon mangas. I have Pokemon Adventures 1, which is by Hidenori Kusaha, yeah, or Husaha or something. And then the art is by Mato, just Mato, there's no other word. Then this is one of my favourites. Oh my gosh, I love the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game series. It is my favourite thing of all time. And this is basically inspired by Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Blue and Red Rescue Team, which are my favourite games of the entire lot. I haven't played Gates to Infinity yet because I can't afford it, but once I do, I will be complete again. And the story and art is by Makoto Mizubushi, and this is just adorable, guys. It is the best. So if you haven't played the games and you're really interested in manga and stuff, this is a really good introduction, and I'm sure it'll make you want to play the games because the games are so emotional and sad, a bit beautiful, and have the best stories ever. Then I have this, which is something I think I got from an anime convention I went to. I can't even remember. I went to that with my friends, and I think these were free. It's got Yu-Gi-Oh in it, the Grey Man, Buzarenkin, yep, and the Prince of Tennis, and then it's also got Mega Man, NT Warrior, and Hayate the Combat Butler. The other one that I've heard of is Mega Man, because I played Mega Man Battle Network 5 on my DS, which was cool. But I haven't read all of these, and I plan to, because apparently The Grey Man's really good, so I'm going to read those. And the final thing, are you ready for this? I've just had the best idea ever, guys. This isn't with bad intentions, I swear. It is my Death Note. And if you don't know what Death Note is, it's basically a 12-piece manga. And the story of it is, a guy called Light Yagami finds the Death Note, which is a book of Shinigami, and Shinigami are death gods. If someone's name is written in the Death Note, they die. So if you don't write the cause of death next to it, they die of a heart attack. And if you don't specify the time of death, they die within 56 seconds or something. I think it's a minute before they die. And this is with the lightest intentions. I might write all of my subscribers' names in here. Not because I want you to die, I would never want that, but just because it might be a cool thing to do. So yeah, that is my Death Note. I haven't written anyone's name in here, but I considered writing Justin Bieber in it, and all the names of the One Direction members. Well guys, that was the bookshelf tour part 2. It was about an hour long, and I really apologise for that, but it took a while, didn't it? So I hope you enjoyed, even though it was so long. I'm sorry, but I think part 3 might even be longer than that, so yeah, you don't have to keep watching these, but there's a lot of books, and if you want to see all the books, you gotta keep watching. So congrats if you're still here, and I'll stop talking in a weird voice now, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!